GDPR and ebillz, what you need to know. GDPR, also known as the General Data Protection Regulation, is launching on the 25th of May 2018. We've made a number of changes to the ebillz platform to make sure it's compliant with these new regulations. These changes also mean that your business is protected. So let's take a look at some of these new features we've introduced. What's new? The changes we've introduced include a more secure login area, stricter account policies, and SQL password encryption. We've also changed the auditing so that you can see who's tried to access or been denied access to various parts of the platform. Sensitive files that are exported from the ebillz platform and log files are now encrypted for added security. Login changes. So let's have a look at the login changes in a bit more detail. Login and security are now permanently enabled and can no longer be disabled, as in previous versions. You can individually restrict different screens within ebillz to different users, but you can't remove that security across the platform in one go. Stricter account policies. We've introduced a much stricter password policy. Passwords must now be between 8 and 20 characters, contain at least one uppercase and one lowercase letter, one number and one symbol. Passwords will automatically expire after 3 months, unless the option has been specifically set that the password never expires. The same password can't be used again within a 13-month period, and new account holders will be prompted to change their passwords on the next login. We now also have administrator accounts set up. Once an account is flagged as an administrator, it can log into the active security screens to add or delete existing users, make changes to security, and the different screens that other users can access. We've also replaced the user maintenance screen with the user password change screen under the data menu. Here, users can change their password. There will be an initial conversion process to convert or create users within the SQL tables. In the user profile table, you'll see that the password no longer appears, but is now encrypted, and another administrator will have to reset the password. The access key can't be copied and will also need to be reset. The initial conversion process will take out the passwords from this table, fill in the new fields, and set all users to expire. It will also automatically set 1 or 2 users as administrators based on the level of their permissions in the system. If everyone has the same permissions, then everyone will be set as administrators. The same is the case if no permissions have been set. Here's an example. I'm set up as an administrator, but I can go through my other users in the platform who may have automatically been set up as administrators, as they all have the same level of permissions at the moment. I can now update these and remove them from having the administrator accounts. This is an activity you'll want to take up early on to ensure the safety of your system. New login options. Now, let's look at the new ebillz login options. Now that login security is active, you have 2 ways of logging into the system, using either Windows authentication or ebillz authentication. For Windows authentication, the user must be set up to have the same username that they log in to a Windows system with. So if I bring in active security screens, here you'll see that I've set my user login name to be the same as my Windows login, which means I can easily use Windows authentication and simply click OK or enter to access the system without the need to enter my password. The alternative is to use the ebillz authentication. For example, if I use a different username than the one I use for Windows, I'd have to log in with that username and the corresponding password. This is a good option if you want a user to have to log in, entering their password every single time. Further changes. For enhanced security, we now also have a log showing different users, the screens that they have accessed or tried to access in the billing system, when they have accessed these, which part of the program they're using, and the version that they're using. Also whether access was granted or not. Password protection of files. We've now included password protection on sensitive files, including accounts feed, direct debits, and certain power reports depending on what they include, for example customer data, contacts, nicknames and so on. So here is an example of outputting a direct debit file. Go to our usual direct debit export screen, select an export date, and you'll see you must enter your password before your report is produced in a password protected zip file format. Encrypted logs. Whereas before all the information in the action log files was unencrypted, sensitive information is now encrypted, so it's not readily available. Here we can see one of the action logs, with a lot of the information now encrypted for added security. Administrators will have access to a log reader, so they will have the capability to unencrypt sensitive information. Some of the information will still be visible and unencrypted, but sensitive information will always be safely encrypted. Do you have any questions? Get in touch with the team on 0808 256 5361 or email us sales@ebillz.com.